Good day. We, representing Group 1 and 6, are delighted to present the study titled Pigeons, Columba livia, Learn a 4-item list by trial and error. In this presentation, we will explore the paradigm employed in our research, address the statements of the problem, outline the procedure, and present the significant results and findings that emerge in our study. The paradigm of our research involves the independent variable, which comprises two conditions: the full training and the limited training. Through these conditions, we aim to investigate the impact on pigeons' ability to learn a 4-item list, serving as the dependent variable.
Hi, my name is Tessa Marie Heverto, and for the statements of the problem, the researcher generated two SOPs based on the journal itself. First, is there a difference in learning a 4-item list between pigeons who have full training and those who have limited training? And the second one would be, do pigeons in a full training group learn better in a 4-item list than the pigeons in the limited training group?
And to answer that one, we have been able to generate an alternative hypothesis non-directional right here, which states that there is a significant difference in learning a 4-item list between pigeons who have full training and those who have limited training. And to answer our SOP number 2, which is, do pigeons in full training group learn better in a 4-item list than the pigeons in the limited training group? And to answer that one, we have here the alternative directional hypothesis, which is pigeons in the full training group learn better in the 4-item list than the pigeons in the limited training group.
For the procedure, first, 13 pigeons served as subjects were housed individually in a colony room maintained at 20 degrees Celsius with a 12-hour light or dark cycle. Second, the subject will be divided into two groups. The full training group consists of 5 subjects and who received either extensive list training, and the limited training group consists of 8 subjects who received a very limited training. Third, subjects were trained in standard operant chambers. 4 subjects in both the full and limited training groups received a single daily session of 96 trials. Fifth, subjects in both groups were trained 7 days per week. With respect to stimulus presentation, list items could appear at any of 6 on-screen locations. The configuration of the list items on each trial was drawn randomly from all possible configurations. And lastly, to register a response, only a single peg to a list item was required. All analyses were performed with IBM SPSS Statistics 24.
Let's proceed to initial training. The full training group of 5 were first trained on 5 2-item lists, less 1 to 5 using the successive phase method. Phase 1 consisted of the first item, A, appearing on screen, which subjects reinforce for responding to it. In phase 2, items A and B were presented stimulously and subjects were rewarded for responding to them in the order of A to B. A standard session lasted 96 trials or until subjects meet the ruling black accreditation of 24 out of the last 30 trials and 80% correct. The subject were next trained on the 3 items list, which is less 16 to 25, using the successive phase. method in phase 1 to 4. After acquiring this list, subjects were trained on an additional 23 item list 26 to 45, in which all of the three items were presented from the start of the training in phase 1 to 4. In the final phase of training, subjects acquired 15 four-item lists, which is list 46 to 60 in phase 1 to 4.
In continuation of the initial training. So the limited training group A underwent much less extensive training. Specifically, subjects were trained on a single four item using the successive phase method. Next is phase 1, consisted of the first item A appearing on screen with subjects reinforced for responding to it. In phase 2, items A and B were presented simultaneously and subjects were rewarded for responding to them in the order A to B. Next is in phase 3, items A, B, and C were presented simultaneously and subjects were rewarded for responding to them in the order A, B to C. In phase 4, items A, B, C, and D were presented simultaneously and subjects were rewarded for responding to them in the order A, B, C, D. So lastly, if the subjects failed to transfer between phases, they were turned to an earlier training phase to reacquire the criterion.
So for the testing, following all the phases of their respective training regimes, the subjects were presented with a novel four-item list in which all four items were present from the start of the training. Subjects were tested until they either A attained the criterion of 20 out of 96 trials correct, 21%, or B failed to complete an experimental session for 3 consecutive sessions. Failure to complete a session was operationalized as a subject failing to, to make a response for 60 minutes. Once the 60-minute time limit was reached, subjects were then removed from the operand chamber and then returned to their home cages. Now we have the results and findings, and in the four-item test list, there was a significant difference between the groups. And then, only one of the 8 subjects in the limited training group learned the novel four-item list, the rest giving up on the task. Then, in contrast, all 5 subjects in the full training group learned the novel four-item list, acquiring it in 10 to 27 sessions.